Did you know right now your specific person is secretly manifesting you? Or at least a version of you? Because I know and you know that you've already manifested everything you could ever want. And so, right now, if you can embody the state of the person who already has it, you're going to quantum leap and manifest whatever it is that you want with your specific person, whether it be a date, a text, marriage, whatever, right here and right now. And I'm actually going to tell you or show you exactly how to do this. And it's basically imagining the end state version of you or the future version of you that already has it and asking yourself, what do I do to embody them? Truly, though, there's only one thing that ever stops us from automatically acting from this state. And these are problems, right? We feel as if circumstances are in our reality stopping us, which then makes it hard to believe that our specific person could be manifesting us at this current moment, but I guarantee you that they are. And there's actually a simple concept and way of thinking about it that's going to make your manifestation so much easier. And it's the idea that you can't, in your current state, solve any of the problems that you've created. Albert Einstein actually has a quote in which he states, "The consciousness that created a problem is not the consciousness that's going to solve it." I paraphrase there, but it's exactly that idea. And that's a very good way of describing exactly what we're going to talk about here today. So imagine your future self, the version of you that has already manifested your specific person. And I know when I mention future, I don't mean future as in forward in time. I mean future as in the imagined version of yourself, because technically there is no past or future version of you. Everything is all happening right here and right now. You're never actually giving yourself anything. You're just embodying a state that you already have. So the version of you that's already with your specific person is residing within you right here and right now. And so basically what you want to do, and this is how I'm going to make your manifestation effortless, anytime a problem comes up, anytime a circumstance comes up, anytime anything comes up that you feel would stop you from being with your specific person, allow your future self to solve it. Because there is no other person that can solve that problem except the version of you that already has it. And the more you actually attempt to solve it from the current state, the more you're just going to create problems and more circumstances that align with it. So technically, whenever you run into any problems with your manifestation, it's never actually your duty to solve them. And the more we act from a state that caused the problem, as I mentioned previously, the more problems we're just going to create. Think about it in this way. Imagine someone who feels as if they want to manifest a bunch of wealth, but they're coming from a state of poverty. Is it the state of poverty that's going to solve or create a solution or an idea that's going to bring them millions of dollars? And the answer is going to be no, right? The only person and version of themselves and the state that can actually create the wealth is the wealthy version of themselves. And so your specific person manifestation is absolutely no different. The way in which to overcome no contact or overcome a third party. Now, I do use the word overcome, but there's actually never anything in our way. It's just an imagined problem that we're creating. But in order to overcome distance, third parties, no contact, ghosting, on and off relationships, previous assumptions, avoidance problems, right? All of that can never actually come from the state that have brought them about in the first place. You want to imagine it as being literally impossible to solving it any other way. And to go into further detail, remember, a state can only produce more of the state that it's already in, and I'll give you examples of this. So if we're in an angry state, we can actually only produce angry outcomes. If we're in a sad state, we can only produce sad outcomes. And if we're in a happy state, we can then produce happy outcomes. And it's the same concept that when you wake up in the morning and you stub your toe or something amazing happens or something makes you angry, you find the entire day to go in the exact way that we started or in the way in which we had our most dominant emotion. And you'd say, why is that? Or you could think back to an argument or a spirited debate that you've had with someone in the past and ask yourself, are those actions that I was acting from when I was trying to, or told myself I was trying to resolve the problem, was I acting from a state that would resolve it? Or were my actions creating more anger? And an argument is a good example of this because it's kind of like the pain body within you, right? That state within you, whatever it is, wants to just produce more of the problem. Because you would imagine if you were in an argument and you actually wanted a solution, and that's the state you wanted, you would move into a happy state and you would be patient. You would be calm. You'd be understanding, right? You would listen and you would give examples. But what do we actually do instead when we are in an angry argument? And we would say, we yell, we get louder, we don't listen, we ignore, right? We do basically the opposite, because when has anyone ever listened or resolved an argument that way? And you would say absolutely never. But our state is the exact same way. When you're in a single state trying to be with your specific person, you just create more single thoughts, single actions, and single outcomes. And the only way to change that is to move into the state of your future self that already has it, the state of you already being with your specific person. And again, I say future, but it's not a future self. It's just a way of viewing a timeline. Because the way I like to imagine this concept is to imagine that you're moving forward in time. And on the path from where you are to where you want to be, which is states. So the previous state to the state that you want to be, and imagine kind of problems coming out from that, right? Just stemming off from it. Like maybe there's this problem, maybe there's no contact, maybe there's worries, maybe there's fears and things like that. But the way I imagine it is the future you is going to retroactively solve all of those problems as long as you act from that state. If you're in no contact, it's not your worry to worry about no contact. If there's a third party, it's not your worry to worry about that third party. Your future self has every single solution because they've already done it. And the logical mind has sometimes a problem with that. They want to think, there's no way I'm going to get information from just assuming a state. But it's actually the case. If you're in a happy state, you produce happy results. If you're in a sad state, you produce sad results. It's all a state. Even the state of learning is actually just a state. If you have a hard time with calculus or math or science or history, whatever, it's actually just a state that you're coming from that's going to produce learning or not. And I know, again, that might be kind of a little crazy to understand, but that's actually the truth of the nature. So anytime you're in math class, think of it as a state and you'll actually do a million times better. But we can keep it in relation to our manifestation of our specific person. And I wanted to give an example of an individual who just by producing a state created an instantaneous result. So this person signed up for my email coaching, and before we even exchanged any emails, they were just watching my videos and signed up. And with that intention, their specific person asked them the very same night they signed up for coaching to come over, and they spent the night with their specific person. Now, this shows how a state always produces results and how intention and contemplation of your end is actually the only thing that you need. But obviously to reproduce it might take a little time to kind of get into that state or get into that natural rhythm. But in essence, it's just a state that you're acting from that's creating the outcome that you want. And if you do this, you're going to get the same exact results as this person did. And there's even a technique I created in relation to this idea that you can use in order to really implement this concept. And it's just the ask your future self method. So what you're going to do is just going to imagine your end state, imagine your future self, imagine speaking to that individual and basically ask them, what do I do in this moment? How do I act? Or even contemplate, what would you do if you were already the version of you that has it? And I know, again, your logical mind wants to fight against that. It wants to think there's no way I could just gain information from thinking from a state, but it's the truth. And as you act this out and you really contemplate it and you visualize it, you are going to see the results you want. And because sometimes these ideas feel a little bit difficult to implement, what I wanted to do, and I'm testing this out for all of my members, I made a leaked manifestation file. So it's Kyle August's leaked manifestation files, where I basically wrote up the entire idea of exactly what I talked about in this video and included the step-by-step guide on the Ask Your Future Self method that all my members can go check out right now. I'm going to post it. I have to post it as pictures because it's the only, I was going to do a PDF, but YouTube will only let me post it as pictures. So you can read the entire thing because I think it's going to make a lot more sense if it's written out, and I think you're really going to like it. As well as this, I wrote out the step-by-step guide of the Ask Your Future Self method so you can actively do this right now, get into the state, and manifest exactly what that person in the success story manifested. I'll make the first page too available to everyone just so you can check it out and see if you actually want to read the whole thing. But it's just a complete summary and a little bit more in depth of exactly what we talked about in this video. So let me know exactly what you think about this. All my members, check it out and let me know if you like this and want more of it, because I was thinking about doing this with every single idea that we do, because I I think it's going to help everyone understand and kind of implement these ideas a million times easier. So with all of that being said as well, make sure to comment all of your questions down below. Let me know all of your thoughts, your fears, your worries, your anxieties, your successes. All my members that check that out, or even if you're a non-member and you read that first page and you think it's really interesting, let me know if you want me to continue doing that. As well as this, if you did want to reach me personally, send me a question, a success, something like that you didn't want to post publicly, make sure to reach out to me at kyleaugustcoaching.com. As always, thank you so much for stopping by today. If you did want to become a member and didn't know how, just there's a link in the description, but make sure to all my members go to the community tab and check that out because I think you're going to love it. As always, thank you so much for stopping by today. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.